Testing.
Narinig kaya?
Test mic.
Narinig ka namin. Naririnig.
Test.
Naririnig. Okay. Can you hear me?
Meron po.
Meron. Ako, naririnig niyo ako.
May susut ni Chip to, baka. Sige po. Wala pa. Sir, pakitry.
Okay ka. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Mic test. Narinig mo ako. Okay ba? Thank you.
Ako ba naririnig niyo?
Oh, yes. Okay.
So kahit di ako magtanggal ng mask, okay lang. Okay.
Share screen.
Ano?
Bakit wala? Ito lang na.
Gagawin ko.
I think you should prepare already for YouTube and ano.
Pero naka-live na po siya sa YouTube. Ito-tweet na lang dito. Hindi ko pa po siya tinitweet since we're practicing.
Yan na lang kaya. Yan na lang tayo.
Ikaw na lang mag-operate ng part na yun. O, dali mo na dito.
Can we already test yung yung national anthem kung umaandar?
Ito po, sir. Sige. Ang weird kasi like ito. Pinilitan ko yung picture for this. Ayaw lumabas. Ito, dapat ang picture niyan poster.
Sinave mo ba sa dati? Naka-unmute ka. Ito to.
Oo. Pasok ka. At yung hindi pasok si Luna. Ay. Thanks. Ay, shock. Hindi ako sanay na may mouse. Oo. Dapat ba naka-line up na siya sa VLC?
Oo.
Lang.
I-copy mo muna sa'yo para mas mabilis.
Itong tatlo? Or ano ba? Anong difference sa judiciary sa SC? So itong tatlo?
Yung Facebook natin live na.
Sir, hindi pa. Kasi ilalabas natin siya pagka nag-live na yung YouTube.
Pag nag-ano?
Naka-live na po tayo sa YouTube, pero hindi ko pa po tinitweet since nagpa-practice pa tayo. Pero may link na.
And before we start, kailangan na sa Facebook. Okay.
Ang tawag dito? Start.
PLC ka ba?
Meron.
Prayer mo na.
Ano po bang order? Prayer?
Prayer anthem.
Prayer, anthem, I see him. Okay. Ay, ano ba?
Test natin yung ano.
Wala siyang audio.
Wala?
Ay, paano? Tanggalin ko muna to.
Wala.
Kaya nga eh. Kung nasa TV ba? Hindi ko alam.
Share po kayo. Mag-click pa ko yata po yung share na.
Hindi, pero as it is, wala siyang audio eh.
Dito mismo sa
Pero hindi ko alam bakit wala. Ay, mag-work na yun.
Sir, panaligan sir, papalas yung magtatanong na.
Ako dito naka-output yung
Kaya nga, tatanggalin ko yung output yan.
Saan yung microphone?
Good morning.
Ito yung ibigay, no? Lagyan mo dito sa ano ko. Ilalagay ko dito.
Para mas maganda yung audio. Bagay.
Ito yung galit sa Dorothy. Hindi. Bad. Ito delikado ito. Test mo ka? Test mo ka?
God, we stand in your holy presence.
Oh, okay. Maliwanag ka. Ha? Kaya lang natatanggal eh. Ayun. Teka po. Puta yung nagbabatsura ko ah.
Ano dyan?
Ngayon tatanggalin ko yung ano ko ano. Tanggalin ko ito. Ayan.
Dali. Please, naka-live tayo. Thank you for watching na.
Okay, yung ano. Dito.
Ikaw ba na mag-open?
Parang ng mga participants.
Oh, yung ganun.
Your Honor, guests and viewers, good morning. This is Tiff Atendido Beltran of the PIO. Before we begin, allow me to give a few instructions on how to go about using the Zoom app, what to do while the chief is delivering his message, how to go about with the Q&A, and I will also give an overview of the program flow. Our admin is composed of a team from the PIO. Attorney Brian and I are the hosts or the floor directors for the program. All of us are on board to troubleshoot and to address glitches. We have control over the technical side of the platform. With us is also a representative from the MISO to address our internet connection. We will be doing a simultaneous live stream of the Zoom meeting on our official YouTube page, which link will also be uploaded to our official Twitter and Facebook pages for public consumption. The hosts will mute all of the participants once the program starts. We will start with the ecumenical prayer, national anthem, and the Supreme Court hymn. After these, Attorney Brian will introduce the Chief Justice and he will deliver his message. We will then proceed with the Q&A. Everyone will still be on mute at this point. The only time the hosts will unmute a participant is when he or she is recognized to ask a question. We will only entertain questions from members of the Justice Beat. Should you wish to ask a question, kindly send a message to the chat box of the Zoom meeting. The admin will call on you in the order as posted on the chat. Please wait to be recognized before you ask your question. You will be unmuted when it is your turn to ask and will be put back on mute after. This is in order to avoid unnecessary noise and to properly hear each other. After the Q&A, Attorney Brian will close the program and all the participants may then press the leave button. Thank you very much and let's now begin the program.
Almighty God, we stand in your holy presence as our supreme judge. We humbly beseech you to bless and inspire us so that what we think, say, and do will be in accordance with your will. Enlighten our minds, strengthen our spirit, and fill our hearts with fraternal love, wisdom, and understanding, so that we can be effective channels of truth, justice, and peace. In our proceedings today, guide us in the path of righteousness for the fulfillment of your greater glory. Amen.
I'd like to call on Attorney Brian Hosaka, Chief of the Public Information Office, to introduce the Chief Justice.
Chief Justice Diosdado M. Peralta, Court Administrator Jose Maidas P. Marquez, members of the Justice Beat, composed of the Justice Reporters Organization, or JUROR, and Justice and Court Reporters Association, or JUCRA, and to all viewers watching online through the internet. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. I thank you all for joining us in this media event presented by the Supreme Court Public Information Office entitled CJ Meets the Press Online, Moving Justice Beyond the Pandemic. This is the first time that an event such as this will be done online. So please bear with us should we experience some technical difficulties. Last December 2019, the COVID-19 virus outbreak started in Wuhan, China. It rapidly spread across the globe, and on January 30, 2020, the virus reached the Philippines. On March 7, 2020, the first local transmission in the Philippines was confirmed. With the cases of infection worldwide rapidly escalating, the World Health Organization on March 11, 2020, declared a COVID-19 global pandemic. At that time, the WHO reported that the number of cases outside China had increased 13-fold, and the number of affected countries had tripled in only 2 weeks. According to the WHO, as of March 11, 2020, a total of 124,101 cases and 4,583 deaths worldwide were recorded. However, as of June 9, 2020, the number of infection globally had ballooned to more than 7 million cases, with more than 400,000 deaths. In the Philippines, since March 11, 2020, where there were only 49 cases and a single casualty reported, the COVID-19 infection has alarmingly increased and has now reached more than 23,000 cases with more than 1,000 deaths. Immediately after the WHO declared a global pandemic, it did not take long for the judiciary, led by Chief Justice Peralta, to immediately act in order to safeguard the health of its justices, judges, personnel, lawyers, and litigants, particularly persons deprived of liberty, or PDLs. The Chief Justice, however, made sure that the wheels of justice will not halt. From March 12, 2020, up to this date, Chief Justice Peralta had issued a total of 20 administrative circulars and memos, each circular and memo addressing a particular concern or issue brought about by the global pandemic, as well as the lockdown imposed by the government as a measure to curb the spread of the virus in our country. For those who may not be familiar with the Chief Justice, he is a stickler for rules, and for him, rules are made to be followed. However, during this health crisis, I saw how his expertise and knowledge in procedural law, or what we call rules of court, coupled with his vast experience in trial proceedings as a former prosecutor and judge, help him adroitly craft solutions to problems and concerns of our magistrates, lawyers, litigants, and PDLs. What the Chief Justice did was no small feat, for his solution had to be within the bounds of our procedural laws, which did not cease to remain effective despite the dire crisis we were all facing. Hence, the solutions could not have been as simple as some might have perceived, including even legal experts. I will no longer delve into the details of the orders, circulars, and memos of the Chief Justice, for he is the best person to explain and discuss them. So without further delay, I would like to introduce you to the 26th Chief Justice of the Philippines, Chief Justice Diosdado Madarang Peralta.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Attorney Brian Osaka. Members of the Justice and Court Reporters Association, or the JOCRA, members of the Justice Reporters Organization, or JURUR, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It feels a bit peculiar to be addressing you in this manner. Just last year, we had our first meet and greet at the SC Training Center shortly after my appointment as the 26th Chief Justice. I would have wanted a similar setup for this year, but then COVID-19 happened. While this virulent virus has slowed down or even put to a halt global commerce, every government worldwide unceasingly and tirelessly worked as they struggled to get ahead of this disease. The judiciary is no exception. Thanks to technology, it allowed me and the other members of the court to discuss important matters while strictly observing physical distancing. Admittedly, I am not a techie person, and so I had to catch up and familiarize myself with those so-called online meetings and other innovations. Marunong na akong mag-Zoom. I and the other justices rack our brains to come up with creative and effective schemes to ensure that the wheels of justice will continue grinding without putting at risk the lives of employees, lawyers, and the public. And so I issued several administrative circulars to keep the judiciary functioning even before the start of the lockdown. All these COVID-related circulars, orders, and issuances have been timely uploaded by the court's Public Information Office to the SC website for the information of everyone. Early on in March, I issued Memorandum Order 25-2020, detailing guidelines in the workplace as a precautionary measure to avoid the spread of COVID. I even created a task force chaired by the court administrator to come up with additional measures to minimize the rising threat of COVID. The court had several other issuances to address the health scare in the workplace. When the government eventually placed the National Capital Region and the whole of Luzon under Enhanced Community Quarantine, or ECQ, I issued Administrative Circular number 32-2020, ordering the physical closure of all courts nationwide due to the unabated rise of COVID-19. But while the courts were physically closed, judicial service continued as we opened hotlines and published email addresses where litigants, lawyers, prosecutors, and the general public may reach us. For urgent matters, I instructed all justices or judges on duty together with the skeleton staff, to go to the court to immediately act on them. Subsequently, upon consultation with the members of the court, I issued Administrative Circular number 33-2020, allowing the online filing of complaint or information and posting of bail of detention prisoners. This enabled the courts to digitally act on the matters, thereby reducing the necessity of the judge, the court staff, lawyers, and litigants to physically travel to their stations. Even with the lockdown, I work from home, making sure that I closely monitor the situation of the courts throughout the country. I continuously work even when I had symptoms of the disease. As I had previously disclosed, I went on official business to The Hague, Netherlands in the first week of March to attend the Hague Conference on Private International Law, General Affairs, and Policymaking. There were already reported COVID cases in Europe. Then during my travel, fortunately, I tested negative of the disease. As the government lockdown was extended several times, I had to issue circulars to guarantee that judicial service will not be disrupted. I also directed all justices and judges to continue drafting decisions and orders, which decisions and orders shall be promulgated or issued once the courts are fully operational. On April 27, I issued Administrative Circular number 37-2020, ordering the pilot testing of hearings of criminal cases involving persons deprived of liberty or PDLs through video conferencing in court stations identified by the Office of the Court Administrator. Let me underscore though, that as early as June last year, the court had already approved the guidelines on the use of video conferencing technology for the remote appearance and testimony of certain persons deprived of liberty or PDLs in jails and national penitentiaries. These guidelines were implemented and pilot tested in September 2019 in Davao City courts. The virtual hearings were initially limited to 22 courts. Banking on the success of the pilot testing in Davao and with the COVID health scare, the Supreme Court soon provided some 1,000 trial courts in key cities nationwide with the official Philippine Judiciary 365 accounts each. The Philippine Judiciary 365 has enabled all court stations nationwide to receive pleadings electronically and select courts in key cities to conduct video conferencing hearings. These 1,000 trial courts were initially authorized to pilot test the conduct of video conferencing hearings only on urgent matters in criminal cases involving PDLs. The court, however, eventually expanded the coverage of video conferencing hearings to all matters pending in both criminal and civil cases, whether newly filed or pending, and regardless of the stage of the trial. Subsequently, some 350 more courts were authorized to conduct video conferencing hearings, bringing the total number to 1,350 courts. As shared by Court Administrator Midas Marquez to our judicial neighbors in the ASEAN during a recent webinar hosted by the Judicial Integrity Network in ASEAN titled Justice in Times of COVID-19, some 22,522 PDLs have been already released since the lockdown in March, either through bail or recognizance or after serving the minimum imposable penalty for the crime they were charged. I would have wanted to participate in the webinar and presented the data myself, but it was also on the same day that the Judicial and Bond Council held its first ever online panel interview of the applicants for the vacant position of the CA Associate Justice. I prioritized and presided the activity of the JBC being its ex officio chair. In anticipation of the general community quarantine GCQ to be imposed in the NCR and other areas, I made another issuance, Administrative Circular number 40-2020, directing, among others, that all branches of the courts in the areas under GCQ be physically open with a skeleton staff by rotation to be determined by the presiding judge. We even allowed civil weddings to be solemnized, provided that the parties, witnesses, and guests shall not exceed 5 notwithstanding the guidelines on the phased transition from ECQ to GCQ, which allows a maximum of 10 individuals during mass gatherings in the GCQ areas. The Supreme Court was back on full operation on June 1st, the first day of the GCQ in NCR. In preparation for this, I made sure that the court had placed health safeguards for all returning officials and employees. We installed disinfection chambers dubbed as SC's automated frontliners, located at the lobby of the SC main building and near the entrance of the Centennial Building in Padre Faura, Manila. Since most of the justices are already senior citizens, myself included, kahit wala naman sa itsura, the court also placed acrylic dividers in between the seats in the en-banc conference room so that we can strictly observe the required physical distancing during deliberations. Likewise, rapid tests were conducted among SC employees with prior coordination with the City of Manila and the Philippine Red Cross by the Corps of Medical Personnel. Only those who have tested negative are allowed to enter the SC premises. Incidentally, the SC is celebrating its 119th year today. Unlike in previous years, we are breaking tradition by commemorating the court's anniversary today without the usual fanfare and merriment. It, however, remains a meaningful celebration. As Chief Justice, it is my fervent hope for the judiciary to not let even this pandemic dampen our determination as public servants to continue promoting an effective and responsive judiciary. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my fellow justices of the court and all the officials and employees of the SC for answering the call of service and rising to the occasion during these most difficult times to ensure that access to judicial service continues unhampered. I would like to assure all that I shall do everything within my authority as Chief Justice to safeguard everyone's health and welfare as we all fulfill our constitutional duties and function. A pleasant morning to all. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice. We will now call on the members of the media to ask their questions in the order as it appeared in the chat box. Our first question is from Mr. Ray Panaligan of Manila Bulletin.
Hi, good morning po, Chief Justice, and good morning to everyone.
And good morning also, Mang Ray.
Opo.
I think you're the most senior among us.
Opo, mas matanda pa nga po ako sa inyo.
Go ahead, please.
Sir, my question is about video conferencing. Considering that about 1,500 trial courts nationwide are now engaged in this online hearing of cases, and more than 22,000 PDLS, persons deprived of liberty, have been released through video conferencing. Last June 3, Associate Justice Leonen aired some constitutional issues in connection with video conferencing, such as lack of transparency of the procedure, right to confront witnesses, and process of authentication. Justice Leonen said that the court has been tackling these issues. Have you, or has the Supreme Court resolved these constitutional concerns?
That's a good question, Ray.
Thank you.
Only yesterday, we started already with the deliberation on the proposed rules on video conferencing. Now, your question is a little bit long, so my answer will be also a little bit long. So that I can explain very well why we adopted video conferencing. It's like this, no? The video conferencing actually is not in our rules. There is no rule that allows video conferencing except that one that is now under pilot testing in Davao. When the problem of closure of the courts, and the problem came out with closure of the courts and only urgent matters were being taken up, there were concerns brought to me by judges and even practitioners, especially the court administrator, that we had to do something because our courts are not doing. So we came out with, because we were officially closed, so we came out with resolution. You know, if you are a judge in Manila, you're a judge in Manila, no? Then your territorial jurisdiction is only within Manila. So if you conduct a video conferencing in your residence somewhere in Parañaque, there is a question whether or not that judge can hear a hearing outside the territorial jurisdiction. So that's one of the concerns probably with Justice Code. But we were able to resolve that because under the rules of court, there is what we call a mode of discovery, which we call oral deposition. And in oral deposition, the testimony witness may be taken outside the territorial jurisdiction of the court. That's why if you look at the circular that I issued, video conferencing is akin to a deposition. That is the one that justifies the video conferencing when the courts were closed, because they cannot go to the respective courtrooms. So we allowed that now. In criminal cases, because there is now a pilot testing in Davao, what we did, but in order that the other courts can also conduct video conferencing in criminal cases, we expanded the coverage of the pilot testing because those rules were already published in June. And you know, the rules of the court shall be published. There must be deliberation, must be published, because rules may become the law. So instead of coming out with rules on video conferencing and then it will take time, what we did in criminal cases was to expand the pilot testing of the video conferencing in Davao. That's why we were able, that's why we were able to, okay. That's why we were able to apply the video in criminal cases outside. Now this is now the concerns, okay. There's no problem probably in video conferencing of a testimony of the witness now in civil cases. There may be no problem now in civil cases. But maybe there may be a problem of video conferencing in the testimony of a criminal case, because the accused might raise the issue that I have the right to confront the witnesses, and a trial should be public in nature. That's what this one. The other one is this. No? That's why we are very careful in they're saying that video conferencing should not be the new normal. No, you know, if you are a good lawyer, no, public prosecutor or a judge, there is what we call demonstrative evidence, where if a witness if a witness is testifying, he can be cross-examined by asking him to sketch the places where the incidents took place. He might also be asked to demonstrate how the victim was killed or how the accused defended himself in self-defense. You cannot do that in video conferencing. That's what we call demonstrative evidence. So these are the concerns probably of Justice Lonen, and we are not trying to address those problems in this particular case in criminal cases. And probably before the end of the year, we will be able to come out with rules on video conferencing, both in civil cases and criminal cases. Okay, now, when there was no more lockdown, in other words, it's now a GCQ, and therefore the courts are now operating, then we have not to apply the rule that the testimony of the witness should not be taken on site. Kasi the judge is already there. Eh. But that will not prevent the judge from conducting a video conferencing, because that is still within the circular that I issued. So video conferencing is still continuous, will still continue. And until such time that we came out with rules, probably we will come out with rules on testimonies and also on other matters, not only testimony. Let's go to the criminal cases. In criminal cases, the video conferencing that we have now in Davao is unique. What we are doing in Davao is that the judge conducts the trial inside the courtroom. And there are two cameras focused on the judge and focused on the witness. The PDL is in the jail. And the city jail provided an office, no, similar to a court, where the detention prisoner can view what is happening inside the courtroom, because he has also a big TV monitor. And we allow the lawyer to sit with the judge, with the accused, or even the counsel can also appear into the courtroom. So the face-to-face trial maybe already satisfied because of that system, because he can see what is happening and so on. Yung zooming is a iPhone eh. No, the problem there is, I hope they will not do this, but supposing the test is being taken, what appears in the iPhone is your face eh. What about in your surrounding? You cannot see or those in your surroundings. So we do not also want to go on with video conferencing and then we will be sacrificing justice, no? There might be miscarriage of justice, especially in criminal cases. But as I said, in those cases where video conferencing does not cover testimony like plea bargaining, plea of guilty, promulgation of judgment, reduction of bail bond, no problem because there's no testimony being taken. So that's why we have 22,000 already released of released PDLs because of this video conferencing. Magkakaroon lang ng problema sa video conferencing insofar as a testimony of the witness is concerned. So that's a long answer. I hope you were everybody understood my explanation. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you po.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Panaligan. Our next question will be coming from Tina Perez of GMA News.
Yes, Tina.
Good morning po, Chief Justice.
Good morning.
My question po is very short, but you can give a long answer. Sir, how has the pandemic affected the speedy resolution of cases? Has it set back the courts?
Yeah, a little bit, but those cases that should have been heard, on a regular pace during pandemic, it was not done. But I'm happy also that in spite of the pandemic, there were many matters that were taken up, like release of PDLs, and also there were promulgation of judgments that were done. No? We were not zero in accomplishment. In fact, we did a lot. To me, it was unexpected. But as I said, everybody cooperated, lawyers, fiscals, everybody cooperated. That's why we achieved so much. To me, it was unexpected. You can just imagine, in 2 months' time, we were able to release 22,200 PDLs. You could just imagine if they were not released and then brought to the PJMP, which is already overcrowded. You can just imagine the effect. No? So I'm happy with the performance of the judiciary, and I hope likewise the public is accepting what we've been doing during this difficult time. Talagang iba talaga. But I tell you this, hindi ko alam. I think we were warned kami as early as June, we were already thinking of video conferencing because there were already rules. In fact, na pilot test na namin. Kung wala kami pilot test and pilot testing, because there is a problem on video conferencing in criminal cases. Wala kami, because there is no specific rule on video conferencing. That's why I have to look for a way to apply video conferencing. So, maswerte rin kami. We are very lucky that we have already in these rules. The other thing is that it was also providential, probably on our part, because we made the rules of civil procedure effective June 1. Yung effectivity ng June 1, these rules now allow the filing of pleadings through emails. Lahat na Lahat na. And there were those who were saying, dapat yan, i-reset natin, sabi niya. Had we reset it as to the effectivity, you can just imagine, madidelay ang proceedings. Now that this is June 1, pleadings are now filed through emails. And then notices can now be served to private couriers. We did not allow that before. Kaya maswerte rin kami. I think it's providential. All those good things came down all at the same time to address the problems that the Supreme Court is facing now. So, maswerte ako marahil. Maswerte ang Supreme Court. O maswerte tayong lahat. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question, Ms. Tina Perez. Our next question will be coming from CNN Philippines, Mr. Anjo Alimario. Anjo?
Good morning, Chief.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah. Sir, my question is about COVID testing. Sir, I think Justice Leonen some weeks ago said that the Supreme Court offered free mass testing to trial courts. I think that's for Metro Manila. But some judges refused or don't want to avail of it. And he said he found it very strange. And I'm curious, do you share the same view And won't SC make it mandatory for all courts in the country to undergo testing, or at least in Metro Manila where the concentration of COVID cases are located?
Okay. Now I will first discuss the circular that issued for Supreme Court justices and employees. We made it mandatory for all employees effective June 1, before they enter the Supreme Court, they have to undergo. Nobody complained about it. Now there were judges who were saying that they should undergo also mandatory testing. Now the problem is the judges are stationed outside of Metro Manila. So I told the court administrator that we will subject the judges, if they want, come to the Supreme Court because they are near. And anyway, this is the epicenter kasi eh. All the victims most of the victims come from Metro Manila. So we pity them because they do not have probably testing in the respective places of work, especially in Manila, kasi scattered ang judges sa Metro Manila. Some are holding in private or their offices in private buildings, not city hall. So sabi ko, let's ask the judges to come to the Supreme Court free of charge, ganon. But meron yung mga may edad na eh. I don't know, baka takot malaman ang sakit, like probably like kay Mang Ray, yung they are invoking yung you are not vulnerable, mga 60 na sila, they are not supposed to report po. So marami silang rason eh. So I told the court administrator that we have to do something and explain to them that this is for them eh. And it's not only for them, their employees themselves. Supposing he's positive, di ba? And then we allow him to go to work. Di ba? Po-complain ng mga lawyers. So my instruction is that they have to undergo mandatory testing. Just konting explanation lang. Alam mo ang rason nila, takot malaman baka may sakit eh. Ganon talagang attitude ato yung mga tumatanda. Medyo a little bit stubborn marahil. But now, I think they are now undergoing. They now realize that there is a need of COVID testing. Now, the other problem, I will add another problem that was raised also. There was a judge somewhere in La Union that they should also undergo rapid testing. Yeah, in La Union, there was a judge who said that he should undergo rapid testing. Eh, sabi ko, the rapid testing is being done in the Supreme Court. He wants to come to Manila, then probably we'll test him for free. But traveling from La Union to Manila, it will take a lot of time and resources kasi you have to use your private car. Eh di sabi ko, doon na lang sa mag-rapid testing. And they have a lot of money naman eh. But that's a good question because that was also raised during our meetings dun sa task force namin. So thank you for your question. Anjo, yeah.
Thank you very much, Anjo. Our next question will be coming from Lian Buwan of Rappler. Lian?
Good morning po, Chief Justice.
Yeah, good morning.
My question po, in 2007, Chief, the Supreme Court under CJ Puno was proactive in the face of rising killings and disappearances, and that it promulgated the rules on amparo and the habeas data. My question is, does the Supreme Court see a similar urgency now, and will it be as proactive as before, given that there is also a report from the United Nations Human Rights Office that police are planting guns in crime scenes and that abuses are probably incited by the rhetoric of the president?
There are no cases pending before the SC, on writ of amparo, writ of habeas data, they are not pending. We are still proactive because the rules are still there. If there are complaints about disappearances or forced disappearances and unnecessary surveillance, they can come to court and then file the necessary petition. And there are petitions pending now in the Court of Appeals and even in the Supreme Court on habeas data and writ of amparo. Yeah. Di naman nag-iiba eh. It's still there. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lian.
Thank you.
Our next question will be coming from the Philippine Daily Inquirer, Ms. Donna Pazibugan Porcala. Ms. Donna?
Justice,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you for this opportunity to ask
these questions. Mr. Chief Justice, my question is, first we would maybe hear from your thoughts on the enforcement of our quarantine rules. What can you say to the double standard application of community quarantine rules?
No,
Is there still justice under this COVID crisis?
yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I might not be able to answer your question, ano, ha? Because it is an opinion that might be misinterpreted. So, excuse me. Please ask another question na lang. Thank you, just the same too na. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Donna. Our next question will be coming from Ms. Christine Patag of philstar.com. Christine?
Good morning, Justice.
Yes, good morning.
This is Christine Patag po from Diosdado.
Yeah.
Sir, my question is there constitutional basis for the government to prohibit holding of rallies when the state of public emergency is in place?
Mahirap yung mga tanong yun. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I might not be able, I'm sorry, I might not be able to answer your question, Tin. I'm sorry, but I cannot now give an answer to that very, very difficult question. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that, Ms. Tin. Our next question will be coming from Bomboradio, Mr. Gerald Ulep. Gerald?
Yes, naimbag agsapa, Chief Justice. Madali lang yung tanong ko, Chief Justice. Masasagot mo to. Kasi sa kabilang bakuran ninyo sa Department of Justice, marami-rami yung mga nagpositibo sa COVID-19 doon sa rapid test. Kumusta po yung resulta ng rapid test dyan sa Supreme Court? May mga nagpositibo rin po ba na mga empleyado ng Supreme Court?
Well, sa tingin ko, mga dalawa lang eh. I think there were only 2 or 3. But after a confirmatory test, negative naman sila.
Meron pa ba? Susunod Chief Justice?
Wala na. I think tatlo lang ata yan eh. But the result dun sa Philippine National Red Cross after a confirmatory test, negative naman sila. I think in the DOJ, I think a little more than 20. But sa kanila naman because it's a rapid test, it's positive, but they had yet to be confirmed by Chinese General Hospital ata if they are positive for COVID.
Okay po, so safe pala kahit sinasabi nyo kanina na senior, most vulnerable na yung mga justices po. Chief Justice.
Yeah, but if you come to the Supreme Court, you will see what we are doing in the Supreme Court. All visitors, we do not allow visitors from outside, but if you are a visitor of the justices, then you can come here, but you have to undergo rapid tests free because you are a visitor of the justice. Then we do not allow also transactions. In the meantime, they should be transacted through the emails. Then we have also disinfectant tents. We have 2. And then we are really very careful. We are really very careful. Everybody is contributing, and cooperating. So that so that there will be no one being contaminated with this disease or virus.
Maraming salamat po, Chief Justice.
Ano yung mga bigat mo?
Ano yung bigat, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Gerald. Our next question will be coming from GMA News Online, Ms. Nicole Lagrimas. Nicole?
Yes, Nicole. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. This is connected to the question about video conferencing.
Yes.
You've talked about yung constitutional issues. I would like to follow up on the technological issues because some judges have raised slow internet connection. How is the Supreme Court addressing this?
Yeah, that is also, I have employed one of the experts in the technology. I pirated him from another office, and he's helping us a lot. I do not like to give his name because he might be pirated. So he's very good in technology, and I have already advised him to come up with a better technology that will now be incorporated in the rules that we are now formulating, drafting. But if you are asking how effective it is, I can show you some data. No? Now, from May 4 to 8, there were video conferencing hearings conducted. There were 129. And the success rate is 93%. From May 11 to May 15, there were 665 video conferencing hearings conducted. And the success rate is 96%. Then from May 18 to May 22, there were 2,406 video conferencing hearings, and the success rate is 93%. Then from May 25 to May 29, there were 4,424 video conferencing hearings conducted, and the success rate is 91%. So the average would be around 94%. So probably the 6% is the one that gave us a portion that gave us the problem, probably on technology. So this is only a small portion, a small percentage. Yeah. But I agree with you that in some places, especially the far-flung places, there's clearly a problem on technology. But we will try to address that. Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Thank you also.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Our next question will be coming from Inquirer.net, Ms. Tech Torres Tupas. Tech?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Tech.
Sir, part ng agenda ninyo is incorporating technology in hearings and trials.
Yeah.
Where are we now with regards to execution? Kasi everything should be done fast. Parang lahat nagka-cramming in creating policies. How is the Supreme Court adjusting in terms of budget, purchasing the equipments, and yung trainings ng mga judges?
Insofar as video conferencing is concerned, I think we don't have any more problem. We have little problems, but we are there now, and then we are implementing. We continue to implement it. But if you are asking for other technology like e-court hearing, yes, and it's not being tested, piloted, because e-court hearing is different from video conferencing. Yung e-court kasi, it will be a trial now, and the video conferencing is actual testimony outside the courtroom. So yung video conferencing, I think a little policing and then addressing some of the concerns of my colleagues about constitutional, it might be constitutional infirmities. But insofar as others like e-court, we are now in the process of testing, pilot testing the court system. But we have already applied also like e-court, like in the e-subpoena, to our friends from the PNP and from the NBI, I think, and then also e-raffle, no? Marami na rin eh. Ang inintay na lang namin probably yung e-trial. So that and e-warrant, yeah.
Sir, follow-up question, sir. What about yung management po ng court records? Kasi may na-mention si Senator Recto yesterday about establishing a Google-like search for outstanding warrants. Kasi given yung nangyari dun sa Piston 6 na yung isa hindi siya agad nakalabas dahil they still need to verify kung siya nga yung may pending arrest warrant.
I think si Court Admiral Marquez is here. He's familiar with the e-warrant, no? So that he can explain it to you. Yeah, I'll give the mic to Court Administrator Midas Marquez.
Yeah. Well, Ted, good morning, and good morning, everyone. Well, that's correct. Actually, prior to the COVID-19 issue, we were already in discussions with the PNP and the NBI for e-warrant, no? So ang mangyayari noon is when a court issues a warrant, it will go directly to the database of the PNP and the NBI. So lahat yon nakakompile, and then they will also be updating us where the warrants have the warrants been served or unserved, tapos lahat ng mga pangalan nandun. So right away doon sa database na yun, makikita natin lahat kung meron pang mga individuals whose warrants have not been served and kung sila ba yung the same individual, no, that are involved in different cases.
Sir, you're referring dun sa NJIS. Ito na ba yun?
Iba pa yung NJIS, iba pa yun. Ito sa warrants pa lang to.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Cartad, and thank you so much, Ms. Tech. Our next question will be coming from Mike Navalio of ABS-CBN. Mike?
Morning. Good morning, Chief.
Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, the UP Maroons lost to UST.
Thank you for reminding me, Chief Justice. Sir, I'll be asking about the current case, but I understand that you cannot comment on the merits. But may I ask on the status, for instance, on the ABS-CBN TRO petition, has it been submitted for resolution?
It is scheduled for another discussion on July 13, I think. Yeah, because there were two. Then there was another one that was filed.
Yeah.
If you are talking about the cease and desist order, that is scheduled for deliberation July 13. Insofar as the one that was filed last Monday, the member in charge asked for deliberation this coming Tuesday because that case was only raffled last Monday afternoon. So we did not have time to go over the records, but that is also scheduled this Tuesday. The other one that was filed by the other one that was filed by Atty. Gadong, you know already what happened.
Yes.
So yun ang status yung tatlo. Yeah.
Chief, the clarification on the status of the TRO plea, just the prayer for temporary restraining order, because I understand there was no mention of that before. A spokesperson, Osaka, has already clarified that that hasn't been acted upon yet. There are statements going around social media that it has been denied.
Yeah.
What is the status, sir, about
the one that your company asked for? Kayo?
Has it been, Chief?
No, that will be deliberated on July 13 because we waited for the comments of the House of Representatives, the lower house and the upper house, and then I think we only received the comments last Monday or last Friday. So the member in charge asked for July 13 for deliberation.
All right, Chief. We will wait for it, July 13th.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Attorney Mike. Thank you so much, Attorney Mike. Our next question will be coming from Isa O'Malley of DZWB. Isa?
Hello po. Good morning, CJ.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, CJ. Opo. I'm Isa Umali po from DZWB. Marami po kasi mga callers sa amin na nagtatanong ano daw po ba yung guidelines sa court hearings ngayon na may COVID-19 pandemic. Kasi marami pong mga tao na nagtatanong hindi alam kung dapat ba silang pumunta sa korte or dapat ba silang mag-communicate muna sa kanilang mga abogado or sa mga judge ng mga courts. Kasi ngayon daw po, as per do sa mga tao, wala daw pong malinaw na inilalabas na guidelines yung korte natin.
Video conferencing? Video conferencing ba?
Kahit po yung hindi lang video conferencing. Halimbawa, kailangan pa po ba nilang aktual na pumunta sa mga korte? Ngayon nga po, meron pa rin tayong pandemic. May banta pa rin po ng COVID-19.
Now, the judge should now schedule the schedule of the trial. Now, if the parties would like to avail of video conferencing, then they will have to file a motion. If the other party does not object, then it will not depend on the discretion of the court to grant video conferencing. Hindi po kasi automatic yun eh. Kasi pag sinabi mo automatic, mas lalong magulo. But in the circular, we already mentioned, inagay namin doon, that it should be by motion, joint motion, or by order of the court. So, hintayin na lang yung order ng husgado. Now, kung hindi siya nakakatanggap ng notice, then that means that the judge is still busy adjusting his schedule eh. Kasi there were cases that were scheduled during the pandemic. Yun ang inaayos nila. How to go about those cases that were not heard during the months of March, April, and May. So nag-a-adjust ngayon yan. So probably, that person who asked you kung kailan ang vista, let her wait for the notice kasi very hard because after June 1 kasi nagkaroon ng daming cases that were filed. So ginagawa ng mga judges, they are trying to adjust their schedule because as I said, there were cases that were scheduled for hearing during the pandemic. So in-adjust nila kung anong system ng gagawin. So just tell your friend that wait for a notice from the court. If the client would like a video conferencing, then tell the lawyer, his or her lawyer, to file a motion and then proceed to a video conferencing. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you also.
Thank you so much, Isa. Our next question will be from Lian Buwan again of Rappler. Lian?
As Chief, sorry, I wasn't sure kanina if I was allowed to ask a follow-up. So I'll ask a follow-up and then I'll ask
Okay.
my second question. That's okay.
Okay,
So,
no problem.
may follow-up po kanina dun sa tanong ko. Ano na pong status ng Human Rights Committee that was supposed to be headed by Sandigan Bayan PJ Tang? And for my second question, Chief, because the Anbank has already acted on it, maybe you can discuss ano po yung naging decision on merit dun sa petition to disclose the health of President Duterte. What was the court's interpretation of Section 12, Article 7?
Yeah. You just wait na lang for the, will be, I don't know, have you not received yet the resolution of the court?
Not yet po.
In due time, you will receive the resolution. Ayaw kong overtaken yung yung resolution because the resolution will be drafted by the member in charge and then it will be released after that. I think it will be released soon. Pasensya na lang muna. Ayaw kong unahan yung release of the resolution. But tapos na nga. Yeah.
That's all right, Chief. Yung ano na lang po, follow-up ko po.
Human rights, it's good that you asked that question. Alam mo, I just assumed my position last November, and then as you will all know, I had a 10-point program, so I gave preference to my 10-point program. Kaya lang na-overtaken by this pandemic yung noong March. So konting na-delay yung mga projects natin. But that is a good question because that Human Rights Committee was organized, I think, by the former Chief Justice, I don't know if I think it was Chief Justice. Yeah, it was actually organized by the former Chief. I will look into it. If there is a need to reorganize it or there is a need to change the members or require them to start having meetings pertaining to human rights. So, thank you.
Thank you po, Chief.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Lian. Chief, our next question will be coming from the Philippine News Agency, Mr. Benjamin Pulta. Hindi daw po gumaganing mic niya, so babasahin ko na lang po yung question. Considering the concerns about online security and to ensure the integrity of online hearings against denial of service attacks from hackers, do you see a need for supporting legislation for this, or would these acts be covered by the judiciary's contempt powers?
Yeah. Alam mo, magandang tanong yan. Sino nagtanong?
Benjamin Pulta po from PNA, Philippine News Agency.
Benjamin Pulta. Now, it's like this kasi. If it pertains to procedures, hearing, procedures, court procedures, ang may authority yan is Supreme Court. So if it is within the authority of the Supreme Court, vested by the Constitution, kami ang gagawa ng rules. So video conferencing is procedural because it refers to a testimony of the witness. So probably kami ang gagawa niyan ng rule. Now, if however there is a need to have legislation, then we will see to it that we will seek the help of Congress if there is a need of legislation. And that's why I said that is a good question because just to illustrate to you the importance of legislation there is now a pending bill in Congress and in the Senate. It's about the amendment of the jurisdiction of the first level courts. When it comes to jurisdiction, wala kaming power dyan. But we need the amendment of the jurisdiction of first level courts because we want to unclog or unburden the regional trial court, the second level court of so many cases, especially drug cases. to our mind, na overburden yung RTC. And how do we help them? Probably bring down some of those cases to the first level courts, where the first level courts have fewer cases than the RTC. So we went to Congress because it's not within the province of the Supreme Court to determine the jurisdiction of first level courts. And so I'm thankful to them that they gave importance to our suggestion that they now amend. And Congress, I think, have already finished the second reading and it's now in the plenary for discussion. And we are waiting for that because that law will expedite the resolution of cases, especially those that are filed before the first level court. So ganon ang system. If it has something to do with jurisdiction, then we go to Congress. If it is, and it's just about substantive law, then we go to Congress. But if it's something to do with procedural law, then that is within our province. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Our next question will come from ABS-CBN again, Mr. Mike Navalio. Attorney Mike.
Chief, I'll ask again regarding another current case. This is with respect to the petition of some political prisoners asking for the release of the sick and the elderly in light of the pandemic. There are concerns, Chief, about the speed of which the Supreme Court is acting on the petition. So how would you explain to those who are asking why there is still no action on this case?
Yeah, that's a good question. Now, unfortunately, the member in charge cannot come now to Manila, and there's no flight yet from his place in Visayas, to Manila. But that is already submitted for deliberation. And what we do in the Supreme Court is that we cannot tackle something if it is not deliberated upon. And the one who will present the case to the NBank is the member in charge. So I hope that he can come this Tuesday, and I assure you that once that he's here, I believe that case will now be finally resolved. Sabi ko na nga, yeah.
Chief, if you don't mind, there's no option for that member in charge to be able to participate in the unbank session through Zoom?
Nagkaroon kasi ng counting technical problems. If he will not still come, he will not still be able to come Tuesday, then probably we will resort to video conferencing. But very hard to have a video conference. Hindi ba sana kung hindi siya kasi ang ponente, member in charge eh. And there will be all questions will be focused to him eh. That's our problem. That's why sabi ko, how shall we do it if it is video conference? Kung boto lang yan, and then deliberations have already been terminated, he will just leave his vote, pwede yun eh. But you cannot vote on something when there is no yet deliberation eh.
Yes,
and the one who will lead the deliberation actually is the ponente kasi questions will be asked eh. So, yun ang problema namin. But jokingly, I told him, lumangoy ka na lang. but I hope, because they opened already domestic flights, tapos na yun eh. It's only now that we have to follow what is provided in the Constitution, that we cannot vote on something if there is no deliberations eh. So, yun nga. But as I said, I believe we can finish it this Tuesday.
Chief, if you don't mind, balikan ko lang yung earlier question about dun sa ABS-CBN petition. You mentioned July 13.
No, I said the case was set for case for July 13, no? But when I say July 13, then it is call again for July 13. So I do not know if the resolution. I do not know if the resolution will already be ready. It is called again July 13. That's what I mean.
Chief, without discussing the merits, but are there any difficulties with respect to that you can discuss with respect to resolving an urgent TRO plea?
No.
Or speaking on the merits, so you cannot discuss.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Baka
magagalit sa akin yung members eh. Okay. Thank you, Am. Sayang, wala ng basketball ng UAP.
Next year.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. I think we have a question from Ms. Tina Panganiban Perez.
Yes, Tina.
pahabol po, Chief Justice.
No problem.
May mga individuals po kasi, legislators, some groups, and even the IBP is questioning the constitutionality of the anti-terror bill. I know that it's still under review, but if anyone files a petition to question the constitutionality in case it becomes law, ano po yung magiging procedure? Will it be through video conferencing pa rin? Or what are your thoughts also on the
Yeah.
bill po?
Yeah. If it will become a law, then anybody can, if he's affected, then he can question the constitutionality of the law. So as a process, it probably will be filed before the court now. It will depend on the deliberations whether to conduct an oral argument or to require a comment first, conduct an oral argument. It will depend. It will depend on the issues, because they might be asking only veto of certain provisions or the veto of the whole law. So it will depend. Kasi meron yung mga they question the approval of the law. They only refer to a portion or a provision of the law. Sometimes they also want to declare the unconstitutional, the law as the whole law as unconstitutional. Sometimes only provision. Sometimes they argue that this provision should have been vetoed by the president because this is unconstitutional. So it will depend on the allegations and the issues that will be raised, and also it will also depend on the comment of the office of the Solicitor General. If there are issues factual in nature, then we usually go to an oral argument. But if the issues are purely constitutional, and there's no need to go, and there's no need to determine the factual issues, then probably we just submit the case for decision based on the responses and pleadings of the parties. Yeah.
Thank you po, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Tina. Our next question will be coming from Mr. Ray Panaligan of Manila Bulletin. Mr. Panaligan?
Chief Justice, follow-up question lang po on ABS-CBN. Sir, the July 13, it's the case, the petition is on agenda on July 13. Are we expecting a decision by July 13? Or is the ABS-CBN petition submitted for decision? Thank you very much po.
And we do not know yet because the comments were filed. Kasi marami kasi nag-comment eh. We required the Congress, first and second yung Congress to write comments. And then we also required ABS to file the reply on the comment of the Office of the Solicitor General. So nagkaroon ng mga exchanges eh. So as what we usually do when there are several pleadings that are filed and we are not ready to resolve it yet, we choose for a date for the hearing or deliberation of that case. So the member in charge choose July 13.
Okay po.
So we just wait na lang muna. Okay?
Thank you very much po, Chief.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Panaligan. Thank you so much to the members of Juror and Joker for your questions for this morning. And to officially close this morning's program, I now call on again Attorney Brian Hosaka. Attorney Brian?
Yes, 10 o'clock. Yes.
With that, we conclude our event this morning. On behalf of the CC Public Information Office, I would like to thank Chief Justice Peralta, Court Administrator Marquez, and certainly not the least, our friends from media for making this event happen.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to reiterate the apology of the Chief Justice that there were questions na hindi niya may sasagot either because pending yung kaso or it calls for an opinion. We do hope that despite of that, this media interaction has been enlightening and fruitful to all the participants. More importantly, the general public who was viewing this online. Thank you very much. Stay safe and have a good day.
Thank you so much, Attorney Brian.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Again, thank you everyone for joining the first ever online CG the Press with our very own Chief Justice. You may now press leave and have a good day.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye.